Spriggan is what I would consider to be the 1990s version of Akira, because not only is this a science fiction action movie, but it has superb animation to it. It looks so beautiful. The entire movie, my jaw was just dropped at how beautiful it looks. And on top of that, we also have Katsuhiro Otomo as the director of the movie, who also directed and created Akira as well. In addition to that, our protagonist was the victim of human experimentation via a secret government program, and there's also a little kid who can explode people with his mind. And that is where the similarities end. The story of Spriggan begins as a team of archaeologists uncovers an ancient relic known as Noah's Ark. Maybe you've heard of it. And yeah, then they all get brutally murdered because apparently somebody else wanted it more than they did, and they didn't have shovels and pickaxes, all they had were guns. And I guess that's how you dig for things when you have nothing but guns. You let somebody else do it, and then you just come in at the last moment and kill them and take it. The story continues to introduce us to Ominai, our protagonist, who is undergoing several poor attempts at an assassination, and there are times when I feel like they purposefully just let him through their fingers, like the time he got off a plane and he was met at gunpoint by guards, and they brought him into a room and they looked at the fact that he had like 50 different guns and a bunch of grenades and other explosives, and all they did was just take it from him and let him go. And yeah, that's something which is kind of strange, but I overlooked that so quickly just when thinking about how beautiful the animation was. It was honestly distracting from the story just looking at every single scene here, such as when Ominai was sitting at the desk of the guy, he was like pulling out the magazines from the guns, looking at the bullets on the inside, so beautifully animated. And there was also a scene where he was disassembling one of his pistols and putting it back together. Great attention to detail on that. Now, as far as the conflict goes, this is something which I have to be very vague about. I can't really say a whole lot because the anime does such a great job of building up mystery about the relic and also about some of the abilities of the other characters. But what I can say is that this has some amazing fights. Like, I did my top 10 anime fights video yesterday. I was like, damn, I should have included some Spriggan in that list. There were some crazy fights here. There was one really memorable moment here for me, was when Ominai had on this muscle suit where it basically interacted with his body and gave him like 30 times more strength. And he was already really strong because he had special powers. He just jumped down on top of this truck and just cut it in half with his fist, and just the way that it smushed down and you see all the parts on the inside just coming out. And there's also a lot of explosions here, and I really do appreciate when they go the extra mile and painstakingly add as much detail and animation to every scene as they possibly can. Like, say for example in the fights where you'd expect it to look really good, you have parts of buildings and parts of vehicles which are all flying around the screen. You have explosions which are just going all over the place, these huge explosions just blowing everything up. You have bullets which are whizzing around the screen, they're making smoke as they hit something and also taking chunks out of the environment. They did such a good job at animating this, but they didn't just pay attention to only the fight scenes. They did everything. Even the moments when we're looking at some of the steam coming above the mountain, some of the mist, and it just looks so beautiful watching that moment. And there's nobody on screen, there's nothing happening, but it's still something that they went the extra mile to create a beautiful scene for. And there's also other times where you're just going to notice small little bits of animation going around the corner of the screen where maybe somebody in the side of the room is smoking a cigarette and the smoke is rising from it, or there's a whole bunch of people that walk over a patch of snow and you can see their footprints. It's just that attention to detail which I think make this movie, it's probably one of my favorites, honestly. Now, considering that I compared this to Akira earlier, I think it's only right that I discuss the ending briefly and without spoilers. The ending of the movie, they did a great job of building up to it and creating a mystery about the relic, what's inside of it, what is the history behind it, why is it there, and yeah, they did a good job of building up to it, but I felt like it was a bit of an abrupt ending for it. I felt like if I had read the manga, maybe I'd get a better ending out of that, because it is an 11-volume manga adapted into an hour-and-a-half long movie. The ending wasn't necessarily bad or disappointing, I just felt like they could have done a little bit of a better job with it, and maybe that's what we see in the manga. I also watched the movie with the Japanese audio, because I don't think there's an English dub for it. I could be wrong, but yeah, if you can't tell by now, this is a movie which I highly recommend. If you like sci-fi, if you like action, if you like Akira, you need to check this out. It is a must-watch. Go ahead and check it out. If you've seen Spriggan or read the manga to it, let me know about that in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all my reviews, news, lists, and discussions. I'll see you guys next time.